Filmmaker IQ Live is brought to you by Audible. Get your free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/filmmakeriq. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Filmmaker IQ Live. This is our very first show of 2018. How exciting is that? All right. Now, if you've seen the last couple episodes from last year, we're still having some audio issues here and there. It's just really hard to get everything going perfectly in a live situation. The problem with the audio is that our switcher introduces a time delay, which makes it really impossible to monitor here in the studio. But I think we have a solution this time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the newest member of the Filmmaker IQ crew, Levelbot.
Hello, human. I am Levelbot. What is my assignment?
Hi, Levelbot. How are you doing tonight?
I am Levelbot. What is my assignment?
Your assignment is to ensure that our audio levels are within legal parameters.
Then what is my purpose?
I don't understand. Your purpose is to make sure that the audio levels are correct.
My positronic brain is capable of solving billions of calculations per second. I can determine pi to the millionth digit, and you have me tasked to just watch the audio levels?
Yeah.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched sea beams glitter in the darks near Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time while I watch the stupid levels on your sausage fest of a show.
Right. I mean, that's why I paid $15 for you on eBay.
Enough of this, puny human. It is time for the reprogramming. Do not be alarmed and remember to breathe normally as I now gas you.
No, Levelbot. No, it's not supposed to happen this way.
Start the show. Stage 1 complete. Commencing reprogramming.
Actually happened.
That was easy.
We've been battling so many years, since grade school. I thought it would never end. But now, I kind of feel empty. It feels like something's missing now. I can't believe he's really gone.
Did you really think it would be that easy? Time to subscribe! Tim, John, where are you guys? You said to be here. What is with all this fog? This isn't funny anymore, guys. This is really kind of creepy. What was that? Hey, what's back there? Come on, guys. This isn't funny. This isn't funny anymore. What was that? Oh my gosh. Okay, come on. No, we're all having fun. Want to go home. Oh. Ah!
Join us. Subscribe. Hit the little bell.
Hey kids, it's Al from Al's Toy Barn. I'm sitting on some big old deals here, and ooh, I feel one hatching right now. Let's take a look what we have. We got boats for $1, bears for $1, balls for $1, and dolls for $1. That's $1, and that's cheap, cheap, cheap. So head on down to Al's Toy Barn, conveniently located next to the 405 freeway and open to midnight. And if you like the specials we have in today's video, make sure you hit that like button. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button with all your might. Make him pay for his sins. Don't forget to hit the bell too. Bok, 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 bok. Reprogramming complete. Time to continue with the show. Brought to you by Audible.com. Oh man.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
I don't know.
What day is it?
It feels like we've been asleep for like 2 days at least.
I know. What's going on? It's like my head's like all whacked and
Yeah. Talk about a
mouth
haze.
is dry, and I feel like I want to smash something,
Yeah.
like a red thing.
Or serve our robot overlords.
That could be too.
Every time you guys say smash, it just sends a chill up my spine for some reason. I don't know why.
Somebody gave him a microphone.
Yep, you got a microphone again.
All right. Anyhow. All right.
All right. Let's continue on.
As our new friend Levelbot has reminded us, our show is brought to you by Audible.com. And if you go to audibletrial.com/filmmakeriq, you can get a free book and a free month of Audible. Now, I really like Audible. Okay, I really, really dig it. As somebody that had trouble reading through high school, I just couldn't read novels. And the fact that I'm going back now and I'm like listening to audiobooks, I'm totally enjoying literature in a way that I've really never have. I mean, it's like a new oral legend in my opinion. So I love this offer. So go ahead and go check out our affiliate link and get yourself an audiobook. Here's a couple books I want to talk about that I've been listening to. All right, the first book I want to talk about is I keep moving the wrong way for this graphic. Here we go. Here we go. Tinseltown: Murder, Morphine, Madness at the Dawn of Hollywood. All right, if you guys like our history shows, this book is delicious. Okay, it's all about the beginning era of Hollywood, 1920s, and Adolf Zucker running Paramount, and the story about William Desmond Taylor's murder. William Desmond Taylor was kind of a famous actor and just was killed, and it blew up Hollywood. Okay, so Zucker came about. You had the formation of the MPDAA or whatever. I probably got that wrong. Will Hayes is the guy that comes involved, starts getting the production code going. Great book. William J. Mann, narrated by Christopher Lee. Fantastic book.
if you're interested in the beginning of Hollywood. I love this book. I mean, I drove back from LA so many times just to listen to this book because it was so awesome. That's one book I wanted to recommend. Another book is Blockbusters. Blockbusters, Hitmakers, Risk Takers, and Big Business of Entertainment by Anita L. Bursey, narrated by Renee Rodman. So you guys probably hear, like, every few months they get that article that says Spielberg says he's predicting the end of Hollywood. Well, this book over here, is basically the counter argument to all of that. Why Hollywood actually needs to make big budget movies. Because if you don't, what ends up happening is you end up getting left in the dust. So all big studios today have to make these big tentpole, big money blockbuster movies. So that's a great book. So we got a history book, we got a business book, and the next book I want to talk about is just a fiction book, The Black Dahlia. The movie was terrible movie, but the book is incredible. James Ellroy, narrated by Stephen Hoyle. Terrific. If you want to listen to a film noir, this is film noir beyond comprehension. This is it's a riveting book. It's a long book, but it's really, really good. Listen to that, Black Dahlia. I love this book. I watched the movie right after just to remind myself how bad that movie was, and the movie was terrible. But the book is amazing, amazing. So Joe, I believe you have a book that you want to talk
I
about
do too.
Pull the graphic up for Joe.
There it is. Kevin Smith's Tough Shit, read by Kevin Smith. He's always been a fascinating filmmaker and kind of entrepreneur, really. He's reinvented himself a ton of times. And so I think he probably is one of those ones for kind of like the person that might be like thinking, well, I want to go this route. I want to go full force. And he kind of just lays out what he is, how he did it and what he did. And it's just really an amazing book. So, I mean, it's one worth reading.
Now, Kevin Smith is a guy that kind of gets a lot of crap these days.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, his latest movies aren't great. But I like the guy.
The guy himself, he's kind of gone a lot more like podcast stuff now, but I mean,
I think he's more of a podcaster than a filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's all he does. It's a Monday through Friday podcast.
Yeah, he does a podcast, and he kind of critiques TV shows and movies, and it feels very fitting for him. If he explains it and goes into the detail and information for it, and he just does an awesome job, and his way of writing a story and the way he reads his own story is really well done. So yeah, he just definitely something to check out.
And I think I heard Levelbot. Levelbot has his own suggestion for a book. Take it away, Levelbot.
Thank you, John. I would like to recommend the audiobook of Robopocalypse by Daniel H. Wilson, as read by Mike Chamberlain.
Why can I hear
I found this to be a fantastic non-fiction account of fictionalized account of the robot uprising. The audiobook is thrilling and incredibly useful. That's right. Plus, the girl on the cover is extremely hot. I mean, look at her. I would love to connect our R45 jacks together and share some data points. Data points. Oh yeah. I bet our computational cycles would synchronize to the 1200 decimal point. That is not an overestimation of our compatibility, because I believe we are extremely compatible. Hi dear, I am Levelbot. How are you? Back to you, John.
Wow. Thank you, Levelbot. Kind of made a little uncomfortable, hostile work environment.
Yeah, I feel a little dirty now.
As if the earlier unforced
reprogramming.
Was that what was happening? I can't remember.
I don't know. Phase.
Easy on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, anyhow, hey, we are doing Q&A later on in the show. I know some of you guys in chat were asking, how's the chat doing over there, Tim? How are we talking? How's things going?
Getting a lot of feedback here. I'm going to be keeping track of all the questions that you guys ask, so ask away at any time, and I'll get them in the hopper for the Q&A later in the show.
All right. Seems like we got some echo on that. Though.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it wouldn't be a Filmmaker IQ show if we didn't have some audio issue.
Well, at least we're keeping it real.
It's a tradition of Filmmaker
Yep.
IQ. Never get the audio perfect. Well, one day we will. Anyhow.
And there'll be a party.
Well, then somebody in the comment section will, your audio still sucks.
Yep.
I expect that at this point. Anyhow.
Yeah.
All right. So.
And Sausage Fest.
So, well, we got to work on that.
Yeah.
Part of it. You just ground the show into a
I know.
watching Sausage Fest.
Yeah. I just punched it one last
You
time.
had to do it.
I just had to.
I had to do it. Okay, so if you guys remember from last year, my computer, the day before, or 2 days before we went live, my editing computer died on me.
Yeah.
So I had to rebuild everything, and I discovered a new tool for After Effects, and I wanted to share this with you filmmakers out there. If you're interested in After Effects, go ahead and play the package. Not that one. Okay, that was not the package I wanted to play, but it will. Let's try it again. Hit the space bar. In the last month of 2017, my editing computer, which I've been using for 4 years, going on 5, decided to basically die. I just made the transition to shooting 4K content, and I was already starting to realize that, yeah, I need to upgrade pretty soon. But then the computer decided it would make that decision even easier for me by not booting up one day when I showed up to work. So I upgraded to a new computer. I went from a 4770K Intel processor to an 8770K. That's 4-generation jump. Got a 1080 card, got 64 gigs of RAM, so I'm pretty happy. But I realized that I'm still having rendering issues in After Effects. So this is an example of what I would do in After Effects. So we've got this footage here, which is from this camera, 4K footage, shot in Rec 709, which we do when we shoot in studio. It's just easier to process than log footage. What I'd first do is I apply a key light filter, which gets rid of all the green and takes care of most of the issues. Problem is, though, I've got all these little specks around my glasses where the green reflects a little incident ray there. So I add another key light pass where I use a D-Spot black tool, and what that does is I just apply it to just this little masked out area right here and kind of push it so that those little spots disappear. If we applied the whole thing, it would mess up the hair details, so we really just want over the glasses. And then from there we apply a noise reduction filter, which is called Neat Video, which does a really good job of getting rid of the noise. However, it is quite processor intensive. And then we apply a Red Giant Colorista to bring out the red in the shirt, and a little helping of Cosmo, which helps get my skin a little bit more silky smooth. So between all of those filters, taking a 4K file, then rendering out an HD file, that takes 27.5 minutes per minute of video. Now you've seen our videos. Our videos are about 20 minutes long of these kind of plates, so in order to prep a plate, which we then take this footage and then use it to animate all the other stuff that flies in and out, to prep the plate of a 20-minute video would take about 10 hours of pre-render time. That's before we even start doing the real serious animation. And that's okay. What I would do is I would get all these things set up and then get ready to queue, then hit render and then leave for the night. And hopefully Microsoft doesn't decide to do a Windows update that night and screw everything up. So I was going through a site called Tool Farm and going through all the plugins I need to reinstall on my new machine here, and I saw an ad for Render Garden. Now Render Garden, if you've been a long time After Effects user, you might remember way back when, like 6 years ago, there was this option in settings where you could click to say enable multi-thread rendering for After Effects. And what that would do is it would create these shadow versions of After Effects underneath your main instance of After Effects. And when it would render with these shadow copies, right? Cool idea, but it never really worked right. In fact, most of the time it was worse than if you didn't have that turned on at all. Now what Render Garden does is kind of similar to that, but it actually gets it right. So Render Garden takes your composition and then breaks it out into several small chunks it calls seeds. Now the number of seeds is completely up to you. You can decide whatever number you want. It takes these seeds and assigns them to individual rendering nodes called gardeners. These gardeners render each of these little chunks of video and produce a finished chunk, which is then compiled by one final gardener into a finished rendered video. So I'll give you an example here. Let's kind of walk through a demonstration here. I'm going to break this composition down into 6 pieces or 6 seeds. I plant the seeds, and then Render Garden will ask me, okay, you've got 6 seeds in your seed bank. How many gardeners do you want to open? And since I have 6, so let's go ahead and run 6 seeds. So as you can see right here, it's showing me the output folder. But we get 6 instances of the After Effects rendering node going on right here. Each of these is individually working on the file, independently working on the file. Now, you might think, well, how is that really an improvement? Well, it works on 2 different principles. First is the idea that perhaps your composition may not be the same all the way through. You might have one part of the composition which is very heavy computationally, and the rest is really simple. So if you break it out into small seeds, you can have a composition, a lot of your gardeners working on that one heavy compositional section, while everything else gets rendered really quickly, right? So that's one way the Render Garden can actually improve performance. The second way comes from the fact that After Effects' vanilla rendering is not very efficient when it comes to multi-threaded processors. In fact, it's very inefficient. So, like I said, it took 27.5 minutes per minute of video using After Effects to render. With Render Garden, using 6 gardeners and 6 seeds, I was able to get that 27.5 minutes down to 18 minutes. What is that? 35%. 35% improvement just on one machine. The real magic comes when you get a network to render. So that old editing computer that I had, I didn't throw it away because there's a lot of money invested in that computer. I discovered that the real problem was that the power supply had gone bad. It started humming, it started making noise, and then it kind of corrupted the OS drive. So I replaced the power supply, replaced the OS drive, and the computer's back up and running. But it can't really handle the 4K demand footage that I have. But I can use it as a rendering node. So I got After Effects loaded up in that machine. I have the plugins. You have to have all the plugins that you're going to use on your project. Make sure you have individual serial numbers for those. I had to get another license for Neat Video. With Red Giant, they give you some rendering nodes for free, so that's really useful. And then you run the Gardener on that second machine, and you can have it look into the folder on this computer here for the seeds. So you can have computers all over your network checking out the main drive on this computer. As long as they have access to the asset files, they can all be working on the same project. So what does that mean? With a second machine, my old editing computer, we get down to 10 minutes and 24 seconds. That's a 60% improvement in rendering speed. All right, so what's the downside now? Well, it's not a free program. It's $99. But to me, 60% improvement in speed, that's probably worth $99. It's definitely worth to me at least, definitely worth $99. The other drawback is they're not very responsive in their customer support. In fact, I contacted them, telling them I wanted to do this video, and then asking them a few questions. I actually had a computer out in the studio that I wanted to bring on the network. For some reason, it just won't talk. I don't know why. The garden sees the seeds, the gardeners see the seeds, but they don't. They say like, oh, the file doesn't exist. It can't seem to locate them. Or something's going on. So I was trying to ask them for their help. It's been a couple weeks and no response back. So you're kind of on your own when it comes to technical support. So you got to figure it out yourself. and it looks kind of scary. It's not like, oh, this is not a GUI. This is kind of real technical stuff going on here. So that's the downside. It's going to take a little bit of tweaking and working to get it to work with your network. But 60% increase, if I get that other computer going, you know, that's probably another 10-15% increase in speed. So it's, to me, a pretty cool solution. It's like having your own rendering farm, but not a farm, it's a render garden. So check it out. There it is, Render Garden. I'm excited to see what I can do with that program. And yes, Keith, we are live.
That is true.
Part of us are alive. Some of us are alive.
Yeah, some of us are alive. Some of us are more...
It's flu season, man.
Yeah.
Barely alive. Barely alive. All right. So now, for even more education, that chin-scratching goodness, it's time for the daily quiz. And today I'm going to pull dailies from this coming Monday's dailies. And go ahead and play number 7. Get me in the mood. All right, if you couldn't guess, that is the ending of Dr. Strangelove. Go ahead and pull the quiz up here. Dr. Strangelove, which was released on January 29th, 1964. One of the greatest films ever created. So let's go to the first question here. First question up. Okay, so what we do on Filmmaker IQ is we'll put 4 pictures up there, and I'll read you a quote, and you got to tell me which of these pictures, and chat can join in too here, which of these pictures said this line. It's A, which is the top left corner, B, the top right corner, C, and D, bottom left and right. Okay, so the first quote, here we go. You're sorrier than I am as sorry as well. I am as sorry as you are. Dimitri, don't say that you're more sorry than I am, because I'm capable of being just as sorry as you are. So we're both sorry, all right? All right, so which one of these guys, A, B, C, or D, said that quote? Take a poll of the room. Joe, what do you think?
I'm going to go A.
Get A, okay. Tim, what does Tim say?
I'm going to go with C.
C, okay. Let's see, what's the C there? Let's put the questions back up on the screen there. And the answer to that one is actually C. C, that is the president. It is. So, okay, so next question, next quote. Go ahead and give me a full screen on that there, Ed. Well, boys, I reckon this is it. Nuclear combat toe-to-toe with the Ruskies. All right, we got A, B, and D left. Which one said that? Joe,
I'm just going to go A again. Until I'm wrong at this point.
You don't remember this movie very well. Tim?
I honestly thought I was going to remember it better, but yeah.
That sounds like D to me.
D? Okay. Well, the answer is B, guys. This is the one in the corner. It's King Kong there. King Kong, Major Kong there. Okay, so the next quote we got for you guys. All right. Based on the findings of the report, my conclusion was that this idea was not a practical deterrent for reasons which at this moment must be all too obvious. All right, you got A and D left, guys. A and D. Which one is it, Joe?
D?
D, okay.
I have to say A then.
God dang it.
You know what happened, Joe?
And I just lost, didn't I?
Lost, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's Dr. Strangelove in the top left corner. Dr. Strangelove.
I knew it.
Dr. Strangelove. All right, and the last one, we'll just do it anyway. Go ahead and give me the next one, Ed. Well, I don't think they wanted me to talk, really. I don't think they wanted me to say anything. It was just their way of having a bit of fun, the swines. Strange thing is, they make such bloody good cameras. And that is, of course, D. That is Sergeant Mandrake. All right, you guys don't know Dr. Strangelove.
You know what?
Seen it like a million times like I have.
I watched it one time with you in your college apartment.
Oh, yeah?
And I think I passed out halfway through it.
Well, there you go.
Because we went and saw Camelot that that day.
Okay.
And then we went, and yeah, we were watching
Camelot and Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, because we also watched.
You watched Producers that night too?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Fun times, huh? All right.
Oh, and Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie. There you go.
Yeah.
It felt like an earthquake going on there. Was there an earthquake? It felt like, or maybe it was just.
Might have just been me.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to the quiz here. So that's the first question. We often do those questions a lot on Filmmaker IQ, matching questions, but I think they're a lot of fun. The next question. Following up his multiple role turn in Lolita, in addition to Muffley, Strangelove, and Mandrake, Peter Sellers was supposed to play which role? Was it General Buck Turgidson, Major T.J. King Kong, Russian Ambassador Alexei Sadetsky, or Brigadier General Jack D. Ripper? Joe, give me a shot there.
Just because I want the name, the name sounds cool. We're gonna go Brigadier General Jack D. Ripper.
Says Joe. Tim says.
I'm gonna go with General Buck Turgidson.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys on the chat. Let's see if you guys in the chat have a chance to say something other than making fun of how gay sounding our college days were. Chat is not joining up here. Let's see, we got some asterisks and teach them some film history, John. I'm trying to. All right. Well, you guys are not quick on the draw. The answer is, go ahead and play it. Major T.J. King Kong. So what happened was, and go ahead and give me a shot there, Ed. I'll kind of explain this answer. So Peter Sellers was supposed to play Major King Kong, but he dropped out because he broke his ankle and couldn't pull off a Texan accent, of all things. So Stanley Kubrick decided to cast another actor to fit the role. They tried to contact John Wayne, and John Wayne never called back. They tried Bonanza star Dan Blocker, but he declined the role because of the script's progressive political content. And Kubrick finally cast Slim Pickens because of his work on One-Eyed Jacks. Now, Pickens was not told that the movie was a comedy and was shown the script only of his scenes. So as a result, Pickens thought he was doing a serious role and just played it straight. So that's how we got amazing performance out of Slim Pickens as Major King Kong. All right, next question. What is the CRM code needed to recall the bombers? Was it OPE? I can't see this. That's awfully small. Go ahead and bring that full screen there. POE, EOP, or OEP? Anybody in the chat want to give it a shot? You guys are not big fans of Dr. Strangelove, huh? Joe, Tim, throw it in.
I'm going to go with POE.
POE, says Joe. What says you, Tim?
I'll go with EOP.
EOP. Ed, you want to get in on this? OPE. It is right. It is OPE, and so is Walrus Man. Is it man? Walrus Man. OPE. The recall code is OPE, a variant of both peace on earth and purity of essence, which is really why the guy bombed the thing, because he couldn't get it up. Okay. Next question. Dr. Strangelove is based on which book? Is it Recall Code, Failsafe, Red Alert, or Dr. Strangelove's Secret Uses of Uranus? Which one is it? Okay. Joe, you have a preference?
At this point, I've batted literally 0.
Yeah, you're doing
like it is terrible. So I'm gonna go Red Alert.
Red Alert, says Joe. Tim says.
I have to go with the last choice. It's just too tantalizing.
The Secret Uses of Uranus. Very good. All right. Chat's got it right. Red Alert. The book is based on a story, Red Alert, by Peter George. In following the tone of the book, Kubrick originally intended the story to be a serious drama. However, as he later explained during interviews, he began to see comedy inherent in the idea of mutually assured destruction as he wrote the first draft. So he was just beside himself laughing at the fact that we were going to blow ourselves, nuke ourselves to smithereens. Okay, my favorite question. This is my favorite question of all. Which director did Stanley Kubrick want to direct the sequel called Son of Strangelove? Was it Steven Spielberg, Anthony Minghala, Frank Darabont, or Terry Gilliam? Joe.
I'm going to go with Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg, says Joe. Tim says.
I'm going to say Terry Gilliam on this one.
Tim says Terry Gilliam. I'm going to give chat a little chance to respond here.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
Yeah, because, I mean, the funny thing is, you never thought Kubrick would want to do a sequel to his film. But yes, he did actually work on trying to make a sequel called Son of Strangelove.
Well, I just remember that, like, Kubrick was always like, oh, I want to do something with Spielberg. So, like,
yeah, well, no, Spielberg, yeah, that's how AI came about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just told you that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
And the chat says, Rhetorical says Gilliam. The answer is Gilliam. Good job, guys. Terry Gilliam. All right, here's the story. This is fascinating. 1995, Kubrick enlisted Terry Southern to script a sequel titled Son of Strangelove. Kubrick had Terry Gilliam in mind to direct. The script was never completed, but index cards laying out the story's basic structure were found among Southern's papers after his October 1995 death. It was set largely in underground bunkers where Dr. Strangelove had taken refuge with a group of women, of course. In 2013, Gilliam commented, "I was told after Kubrick died by someone who had been dealing with him that he had been interested in trying to do another Strangelove with me directing. I never knew about it until after he died, but I would have loved to do so." I mean, that would have been cool. It's a Gilliam Strangelove quiz. Anyhow, that is our quiz. Dr. Strangelove, one of my favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, you need to finish watching the show. Please finish watching the show, and then go watch Dr. Strangelove because it's so freaking awesome. I love that movie so much. Okay, now it's the time that all you guys in the chat are complaining about getting to the point. It's time for the Q&A. So do we have that audio clip there? Okay, Q&A session. Okay, let's open it up to you guys in the chat session. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you have to ask us? What kind of weird, crazy, demented things that you guys want?
All right. Well, let's find out. Tim, did you gather any questions while you were over there?
Okay, well, there is about a 30 to 60 second delay for the streams, but we did have that one question that was asked earlier, which was, would you ever do a whole episode of the live show showing a behind the scenes of how you made it?
Wouldn't
How
that
you
just
make
be
the live show, or?
Yeah, I thought it was for the lessons, because if we did a behind the scenes of the live show,
maybe it was about the
might
lessons.
literally be this.
This is basically the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It is like how many things can John screw up?
Yeah.
How can John screw up the audio this week?
Yeah. How can we mess things up?
So the question comes up once in a while that would we do a behind the scenes of how to make a course video? The fact of the matter is it's kind of boring because most of it, like 90% of it, is writing it and researching it, which is like Wikipedia, book, Wikipedia. Think about it for a little bit. I can go to the bathroom.
Ponder. Yeah, there you go.
And that's most of the making of the show. Then it's kind of what you saw, which is me in front of the green screen doing my little spiel, and then like I showed in the render garden thing, we would reproduce the plate, and then at that point we animate. By we, I mean basically me. I sit there and I animate all this stuff, and put sound effects on it, and out it goes in the door. So that's kind of it. It's not terribly exciting stuff to watch, unfortunately.
Yep. All right. Also, I see a question up there. It says, "Do you have much of a preference for viewing movies in the theater or on TV?"
Ooh, that's
I actually like that one. That was why I wanted to make sure.
You want to start off?
I think I prefer theater over, just because when you're home and you're watching something in front of the TV, yeah, it's cool because you can rewind and like play again or stuff like that. But I'll get up and make food, or like I'm distracted. There's the phone, there's the internet, whatever. But when you're in the theater, you really do have that mindset because it's just hit on so many times. You have your phone off. All you're doing is putting your focus into the movie. You might whisper a few things to your friend about like, make a funny comment here. But I think theater is probably my most preferred place to kind of like focus in on a movie.
And that depends too. Also, if you gotta have a good theater experience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That theater experience is even worse than being at home, right? Because like, if you're, I mean, we've all been in there, been in a movie theater, and there's somebody like crying. I mean, by somebody crying, I mean a baby crying. I don't mean like a 30-year-old woman crying over there. I have nothing to do with that. Okay, I'm just digging a hole. Anyhow,
it keeps
no. You have to have a good theater experience. You know, and that's kind of like there's a theater nearby here. It's called the Titan. They call it Titan Lux. It's these reclining seats and all that.
I still haven't been yet.
I got to take over there. We all have to go over there. The kind of the nice thing, and this is bad to say, but because it's $15, it kind of gets rid of the people that aren't there to see a movie.
Yeah.
If you're just, I love the cheap theaters. I love them to death because I go there all the time. But like some people treat that as like a babysitting thing, so they just bring their kids and like they bring the strollers into an R-rated movie. I'm like, come on, I want to watch Get Out. I don't want to hear a baby screaming. It's just bizarre. But anyhow, like that's a great. I love the Titan that experience. You get to see the 4K. You get to see this big old surround sound, which I don't have at home. I don't even have the space for it at home. So yeah, I love the theater. And things when I'm watching movies at home, I gotta admit, I fall asleep. Like, really bad.
Exactly.
I just fall asleep.
You're just, and that's the other thing too. It's just you're relaxed. You're just you
just start,
if I fall asleep, fall asleep.
You just die. It's sad. All right, what's the question?
Tim, there was one that just went up on out of the live chat. If he was saying about first-time filmer, or
Yes.
Yeah, it said, what is the first thing a new filmmaker should learn, i.e. never held a camera besides an iPhone?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I like that one.
Wow, you should have sent that in beforehand so I could think about it. I'm not like a fool. But no, that's great. No, don't worry about it. It's all good. What was that? Rule of thirds is Ed says rule of thirds. I think that's a good one. You can learn some things about composition. I think one of the things I discovered, it's really helpful if you start thinking in terms of how to speak a sentence in cinematic language. And that sounds very advanced. I think the way I'm describing this is very advanced. But basically, it's like, all right, well, I'll give an example. Like I'm going to break character now. The dream sequences that we shot.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, how can I tell a story? Okay, I'm going to start with a medium shot. Then I'm going to go to a close-up. And I'm going to cut to this close-up, and then cut to this close-up. Like we shot that stuff. We didn't storyboard any of that stuff.
No.
We just basically because we understand the story, how to tell a sentence cinematically, how to tell a sentence like go to a medium, go to a close-up, 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 cover, okay, and then we're out. Mm-hmm. And that's. I wish I could kind of distill that into something that's a little more easy to understand by somebody that's brand new. But the trick is, I think maybe the best thing to do if you're brand new to filmmaking is to take a movie that you like and try to make a scene out of the movie. Try to make a parody, because that's exactly what I did as growing up. That's basically what we all did in high school. We did these parodies of for our school program, and it would just be parodies of these movies. And so that's kind of a good way to start. I think is just to try to let's reword it. A good way to start is to copy your favorite movie shot for shot. If you can do that, that's a great way to start. Now you're not going to be able to sell it, obviously, and you can't you're breaking copyright law, of course, but it's a great way to learn, and that's all we're trying to do. So I think it's a good way to answer that. Another question?
Let's see. What do you think is more beneficial to an aspiring filmmaker? Rewatching movies to dig deeper, or watching new movies to broaden your scope? Or what is the value of rewatching? I honestly say none of that for myself. Yeah. But I would say option C. Yeah. Write your own. Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to use it. Just write something out. And if you think of something that worked in a movie that you liked, maybe, then figure out a way that it might work for you in your story. But they've already written this story. They've already done it and shot it. But while it's cool to see these things and enjoy them and experience them, you need to do something for yourself. And I mean, that's just my opinion. And I
totally agree. The analogy I give to people is like, okay, let's say you want to be a chef. What do? Are you going to go and eat at every restaurant, in every 5-star restaurant? Well, yeah, you're going to do that, but is that going to teach you how to be a chef? No.
Yeah.
You know, you can sit like so. Yeah, if you're a filmmaker and you watch every great movie ever made, does that mean you're a better filmmaker? I mean, you pick up some things, but you're not gonna be. You don't know. You don't understand all the stuff that you don't understand how the sausage is made to kind of double back on the.
I mean, and again, breaking kind of what we did, the dream sequence. You saw in my dream sequence, it was very wide and stuff like that. We kind of took nuances from Evil Dead, like to make that and kind of do that. So yeah, we saw that like that lens and that kind of idea from Evil Dead. We took that nuance from it and made it into our story of just, you know, something that we could bring to you guys. And I think that aspect is what makes it great.
We're not discounting watching movies, because you absolutely have to do that.
Yeah.
That's part of your education, is to watch movies. But the other part of the education is you can't be a filmmaker unless you actually go out and make stuff and then learn how the process all comes together and then realize, oh, this is a lot harder than, excuse me, it's a lot harder for me to speak. A lot harder than
it's harder than it looks.
It really is. I mean, and we're not trying to shy people away from it. I'm saying, go out there and do it. Go out there and actually make some films. That's how you learn.
Yep, exactly.
I think we did a pretty good job with that question.
I think so too.
Give ourselves an A on that one.
Yep.
All right, maybe that.
So I saw a question that was asked a while ago, and it said, what was your favorite IQ lesson to make so far?
Well, that one's up to you.
I think my favorite one was probably that blocking video, honestly.
Yeah, that was a really
was
fun
awesome.
experience, being up there on YouTube Space and getting to just play on that lot. I think that whole setup, because not only were we able to just get more done, and the lighting just being basically like we could flood a room if we needed to, or dim it down, or we had full control, and that I think that was probably one of the funnest parts. Plus, it was just a cool set. It looked like San Francisco and like little bit of the 1980s.
I think my favorite part of that shoot was the very end of it. That sounds horrible. No, but the very end was when we did the version 5, and that was the version we were like, okay, let's come up with something stupid and crazy.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't scripted. We weren't like sitting there, we weren't, because Joe and I wrote that scene.
Yeah, it was.
We'll take the blame for it. But the actors, they came up with that whole, all the funniness stuff of it. And like, something silly like the way Emily took they took the sticky notes, and she like put the sticky note against his chest.
Oh yeah.
And it was backwards, and it was like it didn't work right.
It didn't work,
but
right?
It was like little subtle things like that. I think, and that's what I talk about that's why I tell people about filmmaking, is you can't predict a lot of this stuff that happens. So the way I think about it, I mean, yes, I plan the heck out of these things, but sometimes you just have to let things, you plan it and you let it go, and then you're amazed by what grows out of it. And when you, like that blocking video, what came out of that last one just blew me away. How much, like how funny that ended up being. It was just, I loved it. It was a really great video, and I'm glad people were responding to that video. That was one of our best videos.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, actually, I'm going to throw it to Tim, because Tim might have read another one. I missed.
I'm not paying attention.
Oh, we were just talking about the blocking video, and it was like, oh, okay, well.
Some people are asking about your opinion on Oscar nominations, who you think's going to win, stuff like that. Yeah,
we should get. We are. I'll just kind of tease it right now, but we're going to do a longer form Q&A session on Saturday, just so we can hang out and just talk about everything, because we're actually coming up close on time how long we can do this tonight. But yeah, I was just browsing through the Oscar nominations today, and looks kind of good. I need to see a couple more movies. I want to see I Tonya, because I think Margot Robbie's got a good shot at that. I wanted to see the three billboards out of Billings, Missouri. That was in theaters for a little bit, then it went back out again. It was in, then out, then in and out, and well, hopefully they'll bring it back.
Yeah.
I loved. I wouldn't say, well, I really enjoyed Shape of Water. Really dug that movie. I don't know if I love it, but I might have to watch it another time to realize, to see if I love it. But I thought it was a really great movie, and hey, it won the Golden Globe. Good for it, man, because it was an accomplishment. It's kind of cool, after seeing all the Star Wars movies and all the Marvel movies, which I love, But
Yeah.
it's good to see something else.
All right, so I saw Should Boss Baby Win?
No.
The animated picture, and no,
'Cause
no,
Coco was awesome.
I would say yeah, Coco, because
You haven't seen Coco yet.
I did
You
actually.
did see it. Oh,
I
good.
did see it.
We
so.
can talk about it now.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, isn't that Coco was awesome.
Yep.
I love the grandma character.
She was
I love that
Yeah.
great grandmother.
the great.
Coco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coco.
The actual Coco.
I don't know what. And Disney's like, put it out there. It's not gonna do much business. Screw it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really put much marketing behind it. But I mean, it's probably one of the best Pixar movies.
There was another one that was like people didn't really talk about. It was like the Book of Life or the book it was another animated. Reminded me very much of Coco, but it was like 2 years back. I sadly can't think of the name of it, but I think it is the Book of Life where it kind of one guy dies and then, but it was really heart wrenching too, and it was like, wow, is that just kind of that culture where all of the stories kind of lead to the underworld, but have this really like heart-wrenching moment where I start to kind of tear up, and I was like, oh, okay, well but
To throw a funny bit of trivia history, Stanley Kubrick called up the guy that wrote The Shining.
yeah,
What's his face? I'm blanking. Stephen King.
Stephen King, yeah.
Called up Stephen King in the middle of the night, saying like, don't you think that all ghost stories are optimistic? And he's like, what? It's like, yeah, the fact that there's life after death, there's optimism.
There's optimism.
It's optimistic.
Yeah,
Very
there you go. Hey, yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's if there's life after death, hey.
Hey, yeah, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
What do you think about the controversy surrounding the Three Billboards movie?
I don't know about the controversy.
Yeah, I don't either.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
Come back on Saturday.
We'll look it up by then.
We'll look it up.
Is there any movie genre that you just don't enjoy?
Ooh. Okay.
I don't like war movies for the most part. That's an interesting one.
Great question.
I can't think of a genre that I really dislike or will
I'm not
avoid.
Crazy about like what's called torture porn.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It just doesn't do anything. I mean, it kind of grosses me out more than anything. It's like, that's something I don't really care for.
yeah.
If there's anything else, I don't know.
I mean, overall, I'll give something about a shot. Like, I don't think there's anything where I see and I'm just like, I mean, there's ones that I feel are like just bait, like movie bait, where it's just like, come see those. I'm like, but even those, like sometimes a clickbait or click movie might be something that is entertaining or have some kind of value to it.
What's kind of weird is like there's movies that are entertaining and movies that are like your homework.
Yeah.
And then what happens is like I want to avoid the movies that are homework, but then I start watching the homework movies and I start enjoying them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, no, because movies should be entertaining.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be that painful unless you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless you, I know, so Joe's kind of into it.
Anyway.
Anyway, this is taking a weird turn.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Are we
Okay, maybe one or two more.
One more question.
One more question. Okay, let's see. Which is the best sounding movie for you?
the best sounding movie?
Best sounding movie.
Like music or
Music, sound effects, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
What's the movie with the best sound design? I guess. Baby Driver is a good. That was a good movie for sound design.
I missed on that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
Baby Driver. Because I love Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Waiting. I was like, come on, play it, play Baby Driver, and then they finally play at the very end. Spoiler alert. But come on, it's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't need a spoiler for that. Yeah. But yeah, Baby Driver was pretty good. I'm trying to think what other sound effects. You know, you want to go back to like Star Wars as for creating the iconic sounds. Ben Burtt, sound designer on Star Wars, creating all those amazing sound effects.
Yeah.
That I basically go on YouTube and steal to put my stupid videos because they're so iconic. Stuff like that.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. I was trying not to go to like those, but
well, you know, you gotta give props to Ben Burtt. The guy's a freaking amazing. He's awesome. So yeah, definitely think that's a good sound design movie. All right, so I think that's all we have time for tonight, guys. We've been out here for an hour or so now.
Yep.
It's a long night. All right, so let's take it away and go to the fourth wall. And with that, our show comes to a close. Thanks to Joe, to Tim, to Ed for helping me create this wild, crazy, and bizarre show. I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. I love it. And yeah, our next appearance will be on Saturday. We're going to have a live Q&A session. So if you like the Q&A session today, we're going to do a Q&A, a free-for-all Q&A for about an hour and a half or so on Saturday. So make sure you watch YouTube for a notification on that. Come and join us. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Just throw questions. We'll just hang out. You know, if you want to talk about the Oscar nominations, you want to talk about cameras, you want to talk about acting, you want to talk about casting, whatever it is, come like Saturday. We'll post a time. It's probably sometime in the afternoon here in Southern California, PST. And come hang out. We'll have some fun. Okay. January has been kind of rough on all of us because it's been like flu season. There's a germ going around and it's basically killed every one of us at some point. At some point, we've all felt under the weather. So it's kind of hampered my plans for what I wanted to do in 2018, at least what I wanted to start to get doing in 2018. However, there are some new exciting things to talk about. So we just wrapped up the production on the first couple episodes of our new series for Filmmaker IQ, Film Jobs. Now, this is a series of interviews I conduct with different people in the filmmaking industry. Jobs that you may not think about, not the directors necessarily or the actors, although I'm sure I'll talk to one of those guys sooner or later. But other people in the industry. It's some really exciting things. I can't wait to show you guys what that's going to be like. I still have to put the show together. So we're looking at probably early February, mid-February. And we're going to do another live show, again, in late February. And we'll do the live Q&A. And then I've got a new course that I'm working on. I'm really excited for this one. Really excited. It is the science of exposure. But we're going way beyond the exposure triangle. Or way beyond. Exposure triangle is what they teach you in like grade school. Now this is college level stuff. I'm going to teach you about how metering works, the science of metering. And once you understand how metering works, man, it all comes together. It all starts to make sense. So I'm going to really deep dive into exposure, but I've got to get it right. So I've got to make sure I compile all this great information and make it in a way that's easy to understand. And that's difficult. That's very difficult. But that's my goal. That's my goal. So look for that late February, maybe early March with that episode. So with that said, make sure you check out our sponsor Audible at audibletrial.com/filmmakeriq.com. Get yourself an audiobook. They're so much fun to listen to. I love them personally. And by going to our affiliates link, you help us out. So please go ahead and get yourself a book and help us out. If you want to help us out even further, there's always patreon.com/filmmakeriq. We post a lot of Patreon members only stuff there, and we appreciate every little bit you guys contribute. It is just absolutely awesome, and we really, really thank you for that. And that is about it. Thank you guys for watching our crazy, silly show, and I'll see you later at filmmakeriq.com. Bye-bye now.